The Untouchables. Who were they and why they became untouchables? By Baba Sahib Ambedkar. Part 6, Chapter 16. When did broken men become untouchables? The foregoing researches and discussions have proved that there was a time when the village in India consisted of a settled community and broken men, and though both lived apart, the former inside the village and the latter outside it, there was no bar to social intercourse between the members of the settled community and the broken men. When the cow became sacred and beef eating became taboo, society became divided into two. The settled community became a touchable community, and the broken men became an untouchable community. When did the broken men come to be regarded as untouchables? That is the last question that remains to be considered. There are obvious difficulties in the way of fixing a precise date for the birth of untouchability. Untouchability is an aspect of social psychology. It is a sort of social nausea of one group against another. Being an outgrowth of social psychology, it must have taken some time to acquire form and shape. Nobody can venture to fix a precise date to a phenomenon which probably began as a cloud no bigger than a man's hand and grew till it took its final or all pervading shape as we know it today. What could the seed of untouchability be said to have been sown? If it is not possible to fix an exact date, is it possible to fix an approximate date? An exact date is not possible, but it is possible to give an approximate date. For this, the first thing to do is to begin by fixing the upper time limit at which untouchability did not exist and the lower time limit at which it had come into operation. To begin with the question of fixing the upper time limit, the first thing to note is that those who are called Antyajas are mentioned in the Vedas. But they were not only regarded as untouchables, but they were not even regarded as impure. The following extract from Cain may be quoted in support of this conclusion. Says Cain, in the early Vedic literature, several of the names of castes that are spoken of in the Smritis as Antyajas occur. We have Karmana, the tanner of hides, in the Rig Veda 8, 838. The Chandala and Polkasa occur in Vaj the Vepa or Vapta, barber even in the Rig Veda. The Vidalakar or Bidalakar, corresponding to the Buruda of the Smritis, occurs in the Vajas, and the Tai Vasa Palpuli, washerwoman, corresponds to the Rajakas of the Smritis in Vajas, but there is no indication in these passages whether they, even if they were formed castes, were at all untouchables. Thus, in Vedic times, there was no untouchability. As to the period of the Dharma Sutras, we have seen that there was impurity, but there was no untouchability. The end.